I rank these stocks from strong buy to strong sell, and let's start with the worst one of them all, and that is Tesla. All right, is Tesla's autopilot about to autopilot them into another crash? Well, I don't know if you heard, but the jury just ordered Tesla to pay $243 and $329 million in autopilot death lawsuits. Now, I own a Tesla Model Y, and I've used the autopilot all the time. Like legitimately 90% of the time, I am using autopilot. But one thing I don't like is the full self-driving. I've had issues with it before, so I no longer use it. But hopefully that I don't end up into one of these deaths. Yeah, for me and my family. But let's take a look at Tesla stock, right? So first we need to establish the trend of the market. Now, the market actually has a buy signal with the 10 over 20, price over 50, a bullish trend. So this is going to apply to all the stocks that we're looking at today. And lastly, the breadth of the market is actually looking really, really terrible. We're seeing more and more sell signals. Only 30% of the market has a buy signal, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, showing more and more downtrends, less and less uptrends. So that's not going to help Tesla at all. Now, the sector already shows, once I go over to Tesla here, that the discretionary sector, this is not in the tech sector, has bearish breadth. It has more downtrends than uptrends. It's getting more and more weak. It's getting more and more fearful, I should say, less and less greedy on average in the sector. So the whole sector is looking weak. Now the stock has a bearish trend, a sell signal, and it's getting more and more in the fear category. So it has a sell signal, bearish trend, less and less greed, more and more fear, but it does have an outlier block underneath it that's going to provide a little bit of support. So that is going to help Tesla, and it's going to stay in the weak buy category for me. Next, let's look at AMD. So if it's not a breakout just yet, but when it moves, AMD is moving super duper fast, right? If you take a look at the AMD chart, I was bearish AF for months on AMD. And on May 7th, we had a trend change, and now you can be bullish AF, but we do have a lot of overhead resistance on this, right? Earnings expectations are rising quietly on AMD, but it has this super duper strong trend, and the greed is off the charts. Let's take a look at that, right? Remember, the market will not change. AMD is in the tech sector. So if we go to AMD, we can see the tech sector also has bearish breadth, also has more and more downtrends, also less and less uptrends. And the average fear and greed score in the sector is getting more and more towards fear. But one thing you'll notice is it's gotten really, really, really greedy. It's at 88 out of 100 on the greed scale. That gives me a lot of hesitation. When things get ultra, ultra, ultra greedy, what's likely to happen? A huge snapback. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see AMD have a big snapback. And like I say, it has this huge overhead resistance on top of it, this outlier block here. So because of that, AMD is going to get a neutral ranking from me. Now let's take a look at SoFi. SoFi, right? They're selling the dream of fintech disruption. Well, if it's such a great dream, why is the trend broken, right? The trend line's broken. Retail sentiment is high. I can't tell you how many SoFi bro videos I see constantly all the time on my YouTube feed, right? People are just losing their ape stuff over SoFi. This is in the financial sector. The financial sector, like every other sector we've been looking at, has bearish breadth, less and less buy signals, more and more downtrends. The average fear and greed score is going down and down. And we have some huge divergences here, right? But it's still going to fall into the weak buy category. The market's not changed. The sector is weak. However, the stock's trend, signal, fear and greed, and outlier blocks are all bullish. You've got a buy signal here, 10 over 20, price over 50, getting more and more greedy. And if we look at SoFi over here on the chart, you can see it did break through this outlier block right here, but it did break down the short-term trend, which is not a bullish sign. So you need to be really cautious on SoFi. Even though it shows a weak buy, it is not completely set up for me. I certainly wouldn't be trading it personally. Real quick, let me introduce myself. My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what is outlier and how does it work? Well, Warren Buffett once said, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting rationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get in the stock before the outlier move happens. And if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, just head on over to outlier.com, pick up the annual pass for only 82 cents a day, start using the Outlier 9, which I'm showing you how to do right now, and sit back and relax because you just found the easiest way to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. Let's go to the next one. Nvidia, right? That's the AI crown. But why is the government slowing it down, right? The US continues to delay the H20 chip exports. The AI growth narrative is facing a lot of issues, and the short term trend is also broken on Nvidia. Let's take a look at the Nvidia chart right here. Again, this stock has had a big, beautiful, bullish trend, but it now closed under that short term moving average. So that's not going to help it right now. This is in the tech sector, just like AMD was. So we already established the breadth of that sector is not looking great. The fear and greed in that sector is not looking great. However, Nvidia, looking at it right here, we do have the buy signal, 10 over 20, price over 50. Again, another stock that's pushing up very greedy, while the rest of the sector has bearish breadth and is moving more and more towards fear. So it's still doing well on its own, but in a vacuum, no stock is on its own, right? We have 40% of the move is due to the market, 30% is due to the sector, and only the last 30% is due to the stock itself. And there are no outlier blocks on top of Nvidia because this is the highest it's ever been. There is no overhead resistance here just yet on Nvidia, but these people who bought on this candle, they might be ready to sell if there is any pop up. Now that ranks Nvidia as a weak buy for me. Now, next is Palantir. Palantir, right? The government AI deal could be the spark, right? The Army contract is they just got a $1.2 billion contract for the next 5 years, but the price is not holding up. Price is not holding up, and that's because the entire market is not holding up, right? You can't tell me that 40% of the market move doesn't exist, right? It can be the greatest stock ever, but if the market is weak, like we are seeing here on Friday, that will hold everything back. It'll hold everything back. Now, this is also in the tech sector, but it is in a big, beautiful trend on Palantir. Big, beautiful trend with a buy signal, 10 over 20, price over 50. The fear and greed score went into fear, but is moving ever so slightly up towards greed. And any outlier blocks on top of Palantir? Not here, but it did break the short-term trend. So you've got to be very, very careful, even though this ranks as a weak buy. Now, the best one that I have seen this week is HIMS. HIMS, right? It's still got some lawsuits going on. It's still got lots of problems, right? The Novo Nordisk pressure on the GLP-1 medication is causing all kinds of issues, but we do have a very resilient stock right here on HIMS. Let's take a look at the HIMS chart real quick. Look at this, right? Look at this giant move up the last few days coming into earnings right in Monday. Maybe by the time you're watching this, let's take a look at the Outlier 9. This is in the staple sector, I believe. Yeah, HIMS is in the staple sector. Now, this sector, even though it is more greedy, the greed is not holding up. Greed is going down. The breadth is going down, right? So that's not going to help the stock at all. None of these stocks are great right now, okay? All of these stocks have major, major issues. But this one, it could be the best of the bunch, right? The trend, the signal, the fear and greed on HIMS itself is looking good. Buy signal, 10 over 20, price over 50, getting more and more greedy. That's what you want to see if you're owning the stock. And any outlier blocks on top of it? Not yet. We might see some issues once it comes up into this area once again with people ready to sell and get back to break even as fast as they can. We do have earnings. Earnings is always a huge gamble. And I want you to remember one thing always is that all stocks are bad, but every once in a while they act right. Your job is to trade them when they are acting right and get out of the way, sit in cash, and don't F up your portfolio when they are not acting right. Now, you've got to listen to this, right? If you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, YouTube is going to pop up a couple videos. I want you to click those. And if you don't click those, you must hate money. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon.